21st Brown County Commission meeting to order. Commissioner Pfeiffer, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Our first item on the agenda, we have the Centennial Village Annual Report and Contract Discussion. I believe Mark is out there.
Morning, Mark.
He is.
Morning.
Good morning.
Got dug out. Thanks for coming in.
You got my annual report. We were down a little bit from last year because of the rain. So, other than that, we did improvements out there. We got blacktop donated to us from Lanes out there. We've been having some problems out there. We had someone come kicking our doors out there, and they just kicked the doors in. That was about it. They didn't take anything out of the buildings. They just kicked doors in. And I talked to Dwayne about seeing if we couldn't put barbed wire around the top. They're climbing the fence somehow. That's, you know, I can't figure out how they're getting in. Either climbing the fence or they're going underneath, but underneath they only got about that much room, so it's kind of a problem out there. We bought some game cameras. We're going to fit them up, and then we're just going to do our regular maintenance out there and try to keep up on top of things. You know, you have our end of the year at November, and sometimes our figures don't jive because after November our figures, we go till December. Well, I pay all the bills at the end of December because I kind of like to make sure we have a little nest egg built up. So what I was wondering is, could we take the end of the November budget and take that to the year end, like December? At the end of December, then we could stop paying, you know, that way I know I have enough funds in my account to make sure that everything's paid. What we do is we come in and we give you your money at the end here, then we walk across the street and pay the South Dakota sales tax over there, you know. And so that makes our figure, end of the year figure, different than when we start again from what we give you guys.
What does that do for your accounting, Kathy?
No, that doesn't make a difference to me. I mean,
Okay.
I'm fine if you want to file it in December.
Where is
Well,
that verbiage
Is
at
the
that
contract
says
got to
November?
be changed then to that?
Yes, where is it in here?
Should we
I know
change
it's in
the
here to say
contract
November.
to a calendar year instead of November to December, whatever it is now? That would make sense.
Section G, or Section 6, Item G, has November 30th of each year.
So we make that December 31st of each year?
That'd be fine with me if it's okay with you guys.
We would want time to receipt in that revenue for that
Why don't we
year.
make it like the 15th of December?
That works, I would
You
think.
know?
Yeah, that extra 2 weeks will be good for
Right,
you.
that makes sure that everything would work out okay.
Okay.
So we just have to pencil that change in before we...
Yeah, we'll
Can we
draw up a
pencil-
new contract, I think. That's fine with everybody.
Can you just change it, initial it, Ross?
Hmm?
If we change the date on the year end, can we just change the date and initial it?
Should be okay.
Okay. And then this is the one you have already signed.
Okay.
I'll mark it, but that's okay.
Yep, that's fine.
So if you change the date, he initials and I initial, we should be all right.
Yeah, so we'll say by
Unless Ross has other thoughts.
I don't see a problem there.
And with all the stuff out there, one of the things in the contract that I was curious about, it talks about the corporation assisting the county by making a complete inventory. What kind of inventory do we have with all the little bottles and trinkets and some of those buildings?
What we were going to do a long time ago, and then what we should do this spring here, we want to get warm again, we're going to go take pictures of everything in each building. That way, give you guys a copy, we'll keep a copy in our file, you know, because if we have pictures, that's sure a lot easier than going through the inventory of everything. I mean, we got so many cans out there, it's pathetic, and, you know, but I think, you know, if you go through there, take pictures, and that way, you know exactly what's there,
Okay.
you know. It'd be easier for everyone all the way around.
Is that okay on, item number 5? Photographic inventory, is it okay to have that for our purposes with audit?
Yeah, if he just wants to give us a copy of that inventory when he's finished.
Go ahead, I'll just bring it, just get it on a drive and give you guys the drive. I mean, you know,
Perfect.
you can take tons of pictures, that'll be better than trying to, you know, write it down.
Itemize everything,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
It would be nice to have a description
We can do that.
of what's
anyway, yeah.
in the picture.
This building has.
Yeah, or what the item is if we don't know.
Right, we were gonna do that years ago, and
It
the
was-
team was gonna come help me, and we never got that far. But we
And
can
then,
get there.
have you guys been able to meet twice a year officially with minutes and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
We,
Have those on
it's
file?
kind of, yeah, I hope we do. It's kind of a family-run deal out there, you know. When we see each other, we talk about what we're gonna do, you know, and it's, you know, we do have our meetings, we do, you know, but we always talk about it when we get together anyway, so.
Sure. Well, I just wanna make sure we're following the stuff,
Yeah,
otherwise we
yeah.
might as well not have it in here.
No, we are.
Kind of document or, you know, keep track of the date and stuff when you have a meeting or two.
Well, they're
And
supposed
that-
to
We
submit us
send you
minutes.
meetings here. Doug's supposed to turn in the meetings.
Yeah, yeah.
A couple official ones. anyway.
It's supposed to be 30 days after we have a meeting.
Right.
We gotta turn in our minutes.
And I know the one in July that I attended, I kind of oversaw your election of
Right.
officers, and so that's the last one I remember going to.
Yeah. We had one after that, and I forgot to call you, that's my mistake. Doug was supposed to turn in the minutes.
Okay.
All right, I think that's all my questions.
We'll get you to initial this before you go.
Okay.
And to answer your question about the barbed wire on the fence, I guess I would defer to the state's attorney. If that's something that would be a liability issue, if we would put, you know, that barbed wire protective at the top to keep people out, or what are your thoughts?
Something we'd have to look into, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, you can see it, you can go out there, you can look at the church there was a double doors, you know, and you can see their footprints, the mud prints they've left on the doors. Then that old white house, that's an antique door that they broke. Well, that's irreplaceable as far as I'm concerned, you know, because it was an antique, you know. And it's hard to keep them out.
It's a big area. Have you got some thoughts on the entrance for in and out, separating some of that?
Yeah, we're gonna call Wolski of fencing and have them see if they can put a gate, 2 bigger gates inside of the big gate.
Mm-hmm.
That way we can have an in and an out.
Sign it and,
Yeah. And hopefully people can read.
because that could, yeah, well, a little easier to try and hurt them.
Yeah.
The speed times, it gets a little crazy,
Yeah.
as you well know. So. Good, okay.
Thanks for all your work in there, looks nice.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got, I guess.
Any upcoming contracts or anything for 2020 that folks have already contacted you on?
Snow Queen again, that's kind of their annual deal out there. That's the biggest thing, and then fair, and we got a couple bookings for birthday parties, and, you know, I haven't heard too much about graduation parties out there. I gotta get together with the museum ladies. They wanna have some kind of a doings out there too.
Sure.
They said they might see if they could go half to get a heater in the bar, because the bar is well insulated now.
Mm-hmm.
And that, you know, they wanted to have something in May or something, but it's so cold out in there, you know, no heat, you know, so try to get a little heat to take, you know, some of the cold out of it.
Yeah.
Having that central area all covered with asphalt, it really has made things a lot nicer out there.
Yeah, when it rained, it was nice, you know. Drainage ain't the best, but, you know,
Yeah.
that's 50/50, but we can always fix that as we go too.
Nice surface though, that makes a difference.
Yeah, I couldn't, it was really nice of Lean's, you know, I called him for an estimate of bid and everything, and we got to talking, you know, and he says, well, it's gonna cost about $7,000, you know, to do it all. That's cut it and put all the asphalt in and everything, and I just said, well, can I make payments? And I know Steve's pretty good out there. He says, yeah, you can make $7,000 payments, but he says, you know, we'll donate it to you guys if you wear our Lean shirts and our hats, you know, and that was really, really super nice, you know, that happened like that. So, nice, that's probably, what they're willing to give,
Well, next time you talk to them, I think we can get the whole county to wear their shirts and they'll do a mile of road for us. Sell ourselves. Well, thanks for everything you're working on there. Any other big upcoming projects or changes?
We're just gonna keep plugging away. We got we do a lot of painting to do out there. So, and then the repairs of those doors, Did you ever hear from your insurance company or anything?
No, we didn't hear anything from the insurance.
Okay.
We kind of need, I guess, more information, or
Okay.
police report, something, but we did open our claim.
Yeah, he came out there and he looked at the doors and,
Oh, did he? Okay.
yeah. Yeah, we wrote down an estimate about what it cost. I said our labor out there, we do it ourselves, so labor is, cheap, so.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Very good, sounds good, thanks, Mark.
All right, thank you guys.
You guys have a
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year.
Yep,
Did you-
Marcus.
Did you initial that?
Make sure you sign the
Yeah, just
contract.
initial it, quick, and we'll be set.
You can initial it next to that. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, I'm gonna do just a couple, we got about 3 minutes before our
Yeah,
next agenda item.
we could do minutes from December 24, general meeting.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Lee, second by Thacker, to approve the general meeting minutes for December 17th, no, 24th, this is a misprint,
Oh,
right?
yeah, December 24.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Claim?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Kippley, to approve claims and payroll, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
HR report?
So move.
Second.
I wondered, for discussion purposes, so we're giving out the raise to the employee out at the landfill? I just wondered how many others,
Maybe
I
the
guess-
office managers it's gonna affect.
yeah, I just look bigger picture. It's not that I don't think he maybe deserves a raise, but, like a $2 raise, and I think we're gonna open the floodgates. There's a lot of other folks that are probably underpaid that we need to consider too.
Well, he's also proposing $2.20 and then $2.21 again. And I don't think we can commit to 21 at this point, but if we're okay with 20, that would be my concern.
What other, office managers? And the payroll.
You have an email, an explanation on it? Can't remember.
It's on the...
It's on the HR report.
I guess I'd offer a friendly amendment to take that one off for now, discuss it next week when we have the payroll in front of us, and approve the first two. If the maker of the motion would consider that.
If we act on it next week, it still could go into effect on the, whatever, January 12th, I think it was, effective date. So if we would act on it next week, it wouldn't impact the start date.
Would you accept a friendly amendment to that, to take that one off, or do you want it the way it is?
That's fine.
And I don't know.
Actually, when you think about it, it's probably not a lot different than what we did over in the,
Sheriff's office.
yeah,
When we pulled the assessor ones off too, we haven't.
that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, we haven't done anything on that either.
Yeah.
I don't know who made the second, if they're fine with that.
Well, we have an amended motion to pull the landfill salary increase, and we had a second by Sutton.
So I'm okay with the change.
He seconded.
Okay.
Rachel's
Okay,
motion.
the amend.
So it was,
Mike,
I think you can just change the original if the
I think
maker of
we
the
just
motion
amend
and the
your
second are
motion.
okay with it.
that's fine,
Okay.
either way.
And then you're gonna second an amended motion?
Sure.
Okay. Just for clarity.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next item on our agenda, we have Patty Van Meter, delinquent property taxes.
Morning,
Do we
Patty.
have any?
Yeah.
Do we have any? Well, Judy's not gonna be happy. Some are in town. We have, what, 18 of them?
18?
Yes, that I need to turn over.
Times are tough.
Yeah. One has 4, one has 2, but I think those are small lots.
More snow removal, more lawn
Yes,
mowing.
exactly. Justify her snow blower purchase, huh? I also have one that's got an age exemption. We have proof of their age, so we can't do anything with that one yet. Another gentleman that's working with us, and I should know more today with what he wants to do.
So all of these are the 5 years.
Correct. These are ones I have not heard a word from. I take that back. One guy was going to let us have it. It's a very, very small piece west of town that you can't do anything with it, so he's gonna have it.
Bare lot or structure?
Bare lot.
Some of them are pretty good amounts too, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I also have one contract that was entered into last year that we had already taken over state's attorney, we got it back. They paid about half of it in March and haven't heard a word, so we're gonna start that one over again. But these are the 18 that I need to work with this year.
So the one with the age is not in here?
Correct. We have 1 or 2 like that already that we just let sit there.
Taking some of these are rentals.
I would guess so.
The railroad, really?
Really. Those came in as, I think for years we had those abated, and then suddenly we had to bring them in as omitted, and that's just a crazy piece of property. Everything that we send out is mail returned, it comes back.
Big, huge pile of money, but
Guess I'd make a motion to start the process. Is that what you need?
Mm-hmm.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Kipley, a second by Piker to start the process on tax deeds.
Correct.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Have at it.
All right.
Well, and good luck.
See what's next.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Betty.
Chairman Doug, what is the process?
Patty! Basically 5 years you get. She wondered, can you walk
Yeah,
us through the
just curious, what
process
is
of
the
taking
process
tax
on
deeds
those?
and then what happens?
Yep, after 5 years of delinquent taxes, we turn these over to the state's attorney to start the process for the county to get the property. They do an investigation, see who owns what, if there's been error in deeds or whatever. They do have the opportunity from this point, yet they can still recoup their property if they pay this, and other fees that are accrued. Like I said, we have one that we turned over last year, nothing's happened, so we're gonna start that again. That we can still work with them, but we haven't heard anything from anyone.
So, and then if it still don't hear, then
We go through the proceedings that county gets that once we serve them, and anyone that would be involved in it, if there's mortgages or anything. Or contract for deed, you know, we have to let the people who really own the land yet, or the property, I should say, let them know that we're starting this.
and then if no response there, then
We
I
just continue on. Once the county gets them, we hold them for, I believe, 6 months at least, and then we can sell them after that.
Okay.
Try to get them back on the tax roll.
Yes.
Yep.
And normally we don't
do
make,
that.
we don't make a whole lot once we try to get them back on, but there was one piece 2 years ago where we made 40,000 on it. It was just like an old, kind of dilapidated house, but somebody wanted it and kind of a bidding war, so.
We try. I still want to hear from them, so there's hope, hopefully.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
They just assume they just pay the tax.
Next item, Scott Bader, discuss addressing.
Morning, Scott.
Good morning. I put a little packet in front of you guys earlier.
Their policy has changed, huh? Sounds like.
Well, I guess this is the first I've heard of it, and I don't think it was ever discussed when the 3-mile limit was relinquished back in July. There was nothing said about addressing, and they continued doing it, but evidently they've made a decision now to not do it, which turns the addressing boundary over to the county.
So basically, you're talking about just within the 3-mile limit now of Aberdeen is what you're talking about.
Anything outside the city limits.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually had this boundary line here, this map that was agreed on by the county and the city. And inside that boundary is everything they took care of. And let's just say it's an approximate 1 mile. Not exactly, but I mean, we could call it an approximate 1 mile.
It's a simple boundary to be able to understand.
Yeah, just have a rectangular boundary, but now, everything outside the city limits to this boundary has 4-digit numbers, and the county is 5-digit numbers, so I guess the question is, do we change everyone's address, or do we adopt, rewrite our ordinance to maybe keep a boundary 1 mile outside the city limits and continue that with us just taking care of the address? I prefer to do the boundary.
I think that'd be the simplest thing to
Simplifies
do.
it, yeah.
It would make it a whole lot simpler.
Well, I mean, it affects a lot of people by the city just giving it up if we had to change it to 5 digits.
Yeah, I think for simplicity's sake, we just have a section of the ordinance that says we're gonna recognize these boundaries as 4-digit numbers and carry on that way.
Yeah,
Instead of
in our
numbers used to deal with.
addressing section in our ordinance, item number 4, that describes the boundaries by the streets. And, you know, there has been a lot of growth easterly in town, but we could continue with these boundaries and maybe expand that east, north-south boundary line later on. Spread it out a little further, but I guess there was no discussion or contact or anything on that, and so I thought I'd bring it to the commission and...
Well, I think for simplicity and continuity, unless there's something I'm missing, just continue on, modify the ordinance to recognize that boundary and just leave it at that, because anything else that's affected going forward.
Would it take, go ahead, sorry.
So in essence, we'd have, basically before it was city limits, 4-digit, anything outside of 5 digits.
They had 4-digit inside this map.
Okay.
So that was basically preparing properties outside city limits, and they kind of took care of that. But this is not as big as a 3-mile area, it's just a kind of an approximate 1 mile. So this area has 4-digit. And then also the streets, for example, you know, like Melgard Road, and they put a directional on there, like West Melgard and East Melgard, still utilizing Main Street as the dividing line, going out that far, and then they jumped to 135th Street and 136th Street, when they should really be a city street, you know, in that boundary instead of jumping to a county road. So there's some mix-up there, and then same way with 24th Avenue up north, and then it jumps to 130th Street. In reality, they should be, you know, like city streets, whatever it might be, 29th Street or so forth, but Scott Madsen and I had talked about that last week, that it'd be nice if they were all city streets in that city boundary instead of jumping to county roads. But they do add the directionals on there, southwest, southeast, that type of deal.
So in reality, is the only one we really need to change the 135th to 136? Because is the colored area what you're saying that they should keep addressing?
That was what they did address. And
This is existing.
anything from that border to the city limit line now would be our jurisdiction.
Right, but in the ordinance verbiage here, it gives those 4 deals, and they're accurate as far as this goes.
Yep.
Except for the one on the south. So that needs to be changed anyway. Because the ordinance says on the south, 135th,
Yeah.
and here it's 136.
So
So would it be appropriate then to make sure we're on the same page with the city, just to send them a letter from us saying, hey, this is our policy with addressing going forward, are you guys good with it? Is there somebody waiting for their addressing? I mean, the sample you gave us in here that shows the site,
Yep.
is that person waiting for an answer or to know what they're...
That's part of one of the items that came up during the audit, that we are assigning an
Oh,
address.
gotcha.
So we sent that to Brad, and then he just replied, said he no longer takes care of addresses.
But I guess that's part of the problem, is we need to make sure the city's gonna be on the same page as us. We can't just go do our own thing without them acknowledging. So maybe it would be appropriate for the commission, for Doug to sign a letter that says, hey, we don't wanna cause all these people a heartache and have to change their addresses from 4 versus 5 digits, and we all be on board with it, and they can bring it to their city council. Would that be the appropriate way to go, or?
I think, I'd like to have a letter from, city council or someone that they formally are, rather than just an email.
Yeah. But it could be started here, saying this is the process, even though all this changed, addressing did not, but we need to fix the one thing on here.
Yep.
If it's the mile down, then we gotta fix ours too.
But we need to draft a letter of what our intent is and what plan we want to work under.
Just
Should we do
asking for
that?
them for proper confirmation
Right.
that they're on board with the same scheme.
So I guess I would make a motion to authorize chair to sign a letter to the city indicating what our game plan is, and it's just as you reflected, that we change the 1 mile here and say let's continue on to prevent all these people from having an annoying change of address.
It's a lot of people
Yep.
that it affects.
It'd take a lot of work,
Yep.
a lot of notification.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
and-
works. Sensible.
Paying to change your address.
Yeah, essentially, you're just asking for official clarification that the city's gonna relinquish the responsibility of putting these addresses together, and it would be our intent to continue the 4-digit addresses within these boundaries. And you just want confirmation from them that they would concur that we would
And
do
also
that.
confirmation that the 135th and 136th is clarified also.
Correct.
Is that something, Ross, you can draft up? Is that probably something we should have the state's attorney's office draft up?
Yeah, we can work with Scott on that.
Did Scott give you one of these packets? You can take mine.
Who determines, or how was it determined that the city used 4 digits and the county used 5 digits? What's the history on that, or why is it like that?
There was an agreement back when they had that 911 addressing start, and putting up all the signs out in the country and
You went from rural route stuff to...
clarifying all the city addresses and so forth.
Okay.
So at that point, the city of Aberdeen and the county agreed on a border, which they put into we put into the ordinance, and then I assume they put into their ordinance. And we also did the same with, Groton has their own addressing boundary, but we don't have anything in our ordinance showing that. So, there's things that need to be
Added in.
cleared up.
They want to clarify some of that,
Yeah,
too.
Groton and Warner, this audit that we're doing with GIS and addressing and stuff, it has addresses for Hecla and Frederick and Groton and Westport and so forth, and we're assigning the address, and then I'm sending it to the city that here's what we've done, and if they see an error or something like that, you know, let us know. So I still work with the city, even like Groton. A lot of times when Anita was the finance officer, she'd call and you know, verify with us. We pull it up on GIS and addressing program. So now that she's retired, I'm working with Terry Heron from the city shop. So that's where I'm sending, you know, the proposed addresses.
We have a motion by Kipley, I need a second.
Second.
Second by Sutton to authorize our state's attorney to have a firm decision on how the city and the county will correlate their addressing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then
Got it.
whatever the results are, then we'll just have to do an ordinance change.
Yeah.
And then we'll just come up with that. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
You remember, Dennis, a lot of those were discussions back when they went from rural route addresses to, you know, street addresses and stuff, and which ones were going to be known by what were more popular known as opposed to a
Yeah.
street number, and, you know, like Richmond Road and Sherwood Road and things like those. What are you going to call them officially? And that type of thing. So right, we're under a different, just decisions needed to be made. And
Next item on the agenda, we have Bill Edwards, acknowledged land swap. Good morning, Bill.
Morning, Bill.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Happy New Year.
How are you?
Happy New Year. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Well, we have a happy day for the county. I have a deed here for the Richmond Lake property that I want to issue to you. And it's been a lengthy process, but I think it's a wonderful outcome. Pleased that we could make all this happen. Dwayne has been, you know, the point guy. I've talked with him for the last 3 years, and so he thought there is one small issue that we didn't get entirely clarified. Not a big deal, but and Dwayne, I'll just let you talk to the board at your convenience on that. And so, but here is the deed. I do have a statement that I would like to issue. Well, I think I got one for everybody in the room.
that's your entire file on it?
This is only the deed file. And there's 3. You know what, Scott? I don't have one for you. I got one for each of the press people, and I'm fine. Excuse me.
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Bill, you got one for Kathy.
Oh, didn't I send 3 that way?
Here, you can make another copy of that.
Here, I have one.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I thought I sent 3 that way. It's addressed to the Brown County Commission and the residents of Aberdeen. Our family is pleased to make the donation of the 63.4 acres of Richmond Lake property for public use of our community. It is our hope that the property can bring the enjoyment of God's amazing creation to many of our citizens. We encourage folks to visit the Edwards Preserve and experience its beauty. Our family has been blessed, and in turn, we wish to bless our community with this gift. We have a deep love and admiration for the property, but we fully understand that we are only temporary stewards of all earthly possessions in this brief lifetime. Thank you to everyone who had a part in making this possible. We would encourage those receiving this message and enjoying the preserve to be generous and kind to others and to make our world a more caring place. God bless the Edwards family.
Well, thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Bill.
I'll just give the deed to Ross then.
We'll review it.
Yeah.
You have a copy of that exhibit, don't you?
Exhibit?
Yeah.
That's somewhere I know.
Okay. Because I see that's the deed, but there's never the exhibit with it, so, okay. And you did get,
Oh, we need a signature on that.
Okay.
I'll get.
okay. The board that is to be established to manage the property, what's the next step in that?
Forgetting.
I'd have to read the language on...
Who did we cite? It was 4 people, right?
Yeah, there's
Your
4
family?
people. There's an appointee of the commission. There is a member of the sewer district. There is an appointee from our family. And then there is an ex officio member of the Richmond Homeowners Association.
What we could do is, I think our reorg meeting's next week. We
Yep.
put our person on then,
I think we appoint them next week when we do our yearly appointments.
and then we can reach out to those other groups.
And ask them who they want for representative and
Then
schedule a time.
have them get together and create their board and elect officers and
Okay.
do whatever it is they
Okay.
want to do.
Yeah, we'd have to ask the sanitary sewer district to appoint someone.
Yes.
Down on the...
Somebody's Richmond Lake Homeowners Association, so...
And-
And of course, you would have to
and our
designate a family
appointee-
member.
Can I just give you that now, or give it to Ross? My son Nathan is
Okay.
the signature we'd like to have on there.
Sounds good.
The buildings, Bill, is there stuff stored in the buildings by the fairgrounds, or is that?
Good question, Doug. There was, and I don't know if they've been removed yet. But if they haven't, you know, it's been 3 years, so,
Oh, they were renters, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
nothing of yours.
Right, nothing of ours.
So access to those buildings, do we have access? Is there keys, is there locks, or you have any idea, or?
You know, there is, but there's a padlock on the door of the big building, but it's accessible through the walk-through door. So there's really,
Okay.
what's your intent with the building? Do you plan on using them, or?
Well, I think so, you know, I guess I haven't looked at them, I guess that would be the first thing, but you know, our Brown County Fair employees have always struggled to have a place to work on their mowers and their shops and stuff in the wintertime, you know, that's just my thought, you know, the rest of the commission may not agree with my thoughts, you know, but
Sure.
that's kind of one of the things is the larger building, if a guy could put that in some kind of a little shop for our fair people to able to maintain their equipment in the winter months. Rather than farming it out, I think it could save us some money by having them do their
Yep.
work on their stuff.
It's a good building, you know, I mean, it's just a shell, but it's a good building.
Well.
And, now, that's the large one. The two-stall garage is a decent two-stall garage. And then the horse barn has stalls and so forth in it too, that, I don't know what that would be used for, but...
Well, we'll just let our staff
Yeah, well,
assess the possibilities and make a determination how best to utilize it.
Yeah,
But if
someone
there's
needs to
personal property
communicate.
that's there that needs to be...
Somebody
retrieved,
needs to
we'll arrange
communicate
for
with
that.
Kurt Smith to let him know that
Right.
he's to have at it.
Yeah, and the personal property that's theirs, I'll go take a look at it and see if there's anything that is, you know, should be resolved, but other than that, it's yours.
Okay.
Sounds
Very
great.
good. I would entertain a motion to acknowledge the deed.
Move it.
Second. Go ahead.
I have a motion from Kipley, a second from Sutton, acknowledging the deed for the land swap. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Bill. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. You have a happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you.
Motion, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Just so you, yeah.
You guys need this.
Do
Yeah, we just didn't put it, yeah. So I'll email you that if you want.
Oh, sure. That'd be fine.
The motion, second acknowledging the
Tipley second.
Tipley's motion, yeah, second. Anything else on the agenda before we move into our other items that are left?
Do we want a motion on the Centennial Village contract?
I'll move it.
Do you want to note the date change in there?
Yeah, this will be for that.
Okay.
We have a motion by Piker,
I'll second it.
second by Sutton, acknowledging the
Date change to
Centennial Village contract with the date change.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Kathy, you want to do the rest of your items?
Yeah. We have set hearing date for ordinances 154 and 155.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Kipley, second by Sutton, set hearing date for ordinance 154 and ordinance 155. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Contingency transfers.
Move.
Second. Moved by Sutton, second by Piker to approve the contingency transfers. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We do have a cash transfer. It is for the emergency management, the Homeland Security radios. The money is deposited into the general fund, and we should probably move it to emergency management.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Kipley, second by Weiss.
What is the amount of that?
Oh, it's around 20,000
$20,000
ballpark, yeah.
To do the cash transfer to emergency management.
Mhm.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We have increased spending authority for both the revenue and expense, and that's for the Stop Violence grant that we receive every year.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Weiss to increase spending authority for budget and revenue for grants. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Modification of attorney contract.
I would make a motion to reinstate Ryan Dell as one of the contract attorneys for the court-appointed attorney contract. He's been off for a while, and it's been agreed on by everybody, all parties, that he be reinstated.
Second.
We have a motion to modify the attorney contract by adding Ryan Dell
Back on, yeah.
back on.
Is
All
that
in-
effective January, or is he already working?
I think
January 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Effective tomorrow?
I think that's what I talked about with the other attorney.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Then we have the lease, and it's for Target, they leased our cattle panels.
In November?
Yeah, for Black Friday.
Second.
Moved by Kipley, second by Sutton to approve the lease for Target store lease for the cattle panels. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
What that
Motion
was.
carries. Any other items, Kathy? that
I
you're aware
think
of?
that's everything.
That ends 2019, really?
This is it.
Anything else to come before the Brown County Commission?
Do you need any exec for personnel? Yes, please. Move it.
Second.
We have a motion by Kipley, second by Weiss to go into exec for personnel.
Do you have any legal?
I don't think
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are in exec for personnel. We are out of exec, no action as a result. Anything else to come before the commission? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move. Second.
Moved by Piker, second by Sutton to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Yep.